and welcome to CO 442 and 642. My name is Luke Postal. I'll be your professor for this class. As part of our first lecture, we're going to be going over the course details. So let's get right to it. First, I wanted to talk about the prerequisites for this class. So the main prerequisite for the class is that you have taken a class in undergraduate graph theory. So the course will be mostly self-contained, but it is designed as a second course in graph theory, and so it skips a number of important topics that are central to graph theory. In particular, we're going to be assuming familiarity with matchings, connectivity, and planar graphs. Now these can all be found in the main text for this class, which is D. Still 5th edition, and those are from chapters 2, 3, and 4. So you can see the relevant sections here. I expect that you should read over those and familiarize yourself with them if you are did not cover those in your undergraduate class. Also, if you just have had no prior exposure to graph theory, say you're a graduate student and you did not take an undergraduate class, but you need to do this as a course requirement, then you should also read sections 1.1 to 1.8 of D Still to familiarize yourself with the very basics of graph theory, the notation, and very basic definitions. As for this class, the course topics we're going to cover are as follows. So number 1, we'll be doing colorings. That's for about 4 to 5 weeks of this 12-week class. Then we're going to be going on to minors. That's for about 2 to 3 weeks. Extremal graph theory for about 2 weeks. Probabilistic methods, 1 to 2 weeks. And then flows, 1 to 2 weeks. The overall grade is determined as follows. The assignments will be worth 70% of the overall grade, and the final will be worth 30%. The final exam, the date is to be determined. It will be a take-home exam of some form, essentially like a double assignment, a longer assignment, with at least a 3-day time window to allow for conflicts, but possibly longer. That's all to be settled by the middle of the term when we normally determine the final exams. An important point about the grading is that no collaboration with other people or external resources is allowed in any way on the assignments or the final exam. So you can't ask the internet for solutions, go looking for solutions, go looking for other textbooks that might have solutions. You can stick to D Still, you get the course materials, lecture videos, etc., but that's it. You're expected to do the assignments and final exam problems on your own. Let me talk a little bit more about assignments. There will be 5 assignments throughout the term, and you can look at the syllabus and the course information for more details. Those are on the Learn website for the exact dates when those are due. But they'll basically be 3 to 4 problems each, and they'll be due on various Mondays at 4 p.m. That's Eastern Time throughout the term. An important point is that there are no late assignments allowed. So if you have a late assignment, you get a score of 0. As for the grading, each problem will be on a 0 to 10 scale, and importantly, it's both correctness and writing that count toward the score. So as you'll learn in this class, and we'll have a separate video on writing this week, writing is very important to graph theory, and learning to write the proofs correctly in an understandable way is central. Because if we can't make sense of what you're writing, then how can we make sense of whether it's correct? So both correctness and writing will factor in, and this being a first-year graduate course, that's part of the purpose of this class is to prepare you to write proofs very correctly and also eloquently, and just to have your writing be as clean as possible. So we'll talk more about that in a different video, and there will be a handout on that. But let me say a little bit more about assignments. They should be a PDF. So with each problem starting on its own new page. So for the purposes of grading, it'll be easier if each problem gets its own separate pages, and we can grade each problem separately, therefore. Very importantly, these are expected to be typed, so not handwritten and then scanned or taken pictures of for a PDF, but to be typed, and preferably in LaTeX. Really, if you're an advanced undergraduate thinking about going into graduate school, or a graduate student in math, then you should really learn LaTeX if you haven't already, and I'll actually be providing LaTeX templates for the assignments, which will make it easier for you to do them if you bother to learn LaTeX. So please, preference LaTeX, but definitely a requirement is that they are typed. Also, and you can look at the course outline for more details, I want your assignments to meet reasonable formatting requirements for font and spacing, etc. Just so they're all a bit more standardized for the purposes of grading and not having runaway spacing and really large fonts and really large margins that stretch your PDFs to many pages. Will make it harder to grade. So please look at those. And then lastly, the naming, since you'll be submitting these online, as it's an online class, it'd be useful if we don't all name your assignments assignment 1. So I'd rather instead like you to follow some kind of standard name for each assignment. So here's the proposal. You do last, which last is your last name, sections of your 442 as an undergrad or 642 as a graduate student, and then AX, where X is the assignment number. So you have A1, A2, etc. And we'll do something similar when we come time for the final. So now, let me lastly talk about office hours. So how are you going to interact with me during this class? So there again, the videos will be pre-recorded, lectures posted to learn, and there'll be the relevant sections of DSTL from which you can read. But I will also have scheduled online office hours, and we thought we'd start with this and see where it goes. But so Fridays, from 12:10 to 1, I'll be doing CO 442. So that's the undergraduates, and then Fridays 1:10 to 2, that'd be 642. And that 10 minutes is just to allow me some time to switch over between, and then also by appointment. So if you just want to talk to me personally, one-on-one, you can email me and make a one-on-one online office hour. Probably more like a half hour, 15 minutes. We'll have to see how much demand there is, but so there'll be by appointment. And if there's a lot of demand for this, then maybe we can even add another office hour earlier in the week. There also will be discussion forums on Learn for the various weeks and assignments. So I'll be allowing you to go on if you want to ask about a lecture video, or if I made a typo somewhere or you didn't quite understand a concept. That might be easier to congregate the discussion, and even though you could email me, maybe for the benefit of the others. And for assignments, not for you, again, to collaborate, but I'll have discussions if you've noticed a typo or you don't understand the statement of the problem and you want a little clarification. Again, I'll kind of congregate that onto Learn into these discussion formats. Other than that, you can also email me if you have any questions about the class and questions about the assignments. So please feel free to do that. Anyway, I'm looking very forward to this term. I know it's a hard time, but I'm excited to get to be here with you and presenting for you and going through this material and helping you to become better graph theorists and better writers of math. So I hope you all have a good first week, and looking forward to seeing you all in person. Well, online in person, live.